We'll go ahead now and take a walk inside Mrs. Lee's flower garden. As I said earlier, it's late November, so this isn't quite like coming in here in the spring, but we can still take a quick look. We've got this turnaround in the middle. Here at the end of the Rose Garden is some signage about the Freedmen's Village. So it says the path to freedom. Past the Rose Garden, about a 10-minute walk from here, rows of houses curved around the land once owned by the Lee family. So that is right in front of us. That is where Crook's Walk is, where we took that walk at the beginning of this video. That was really the land of the Freedmen's Village. This was Freedmen's Village, a temporary community of former slaves established in 1863. Most who lived here risked their lives to escape the chains of slavery. Their opportunity came as Union troops marched throughout Virginia and Maryland. Freedmen's Village was home to more than 1,100 people, including Sojourner Truth, who lived here for 1 year. 2 families made a home under each roof, planting trees and vegetable gardens. A hospital cared for the sick, while churches and schools cultivated mines. Many worked in construction and some enlisted in the Union Army. Under segregation, villagers faced hardships and the threat of eviction. Nonetheless, a chance at a new life began. And then there is a map of the village to the right of the information. This is actually a real relief. This is metal and you can feel the whole thing. Down at the bottom, it shows you where all these places were. You've got the hospital, carpenter shop, kitchen, old people's home, school, and houses. Most of it was clustered in one area, but then you had some more out off to the side. Number 4 and number 6. So school and houses were a bit removed. And just over there to the left is the tomb of unknown soldiers from the Civil War that I told you about. That was placed right outside of this garden. So we're going to go take a look at it now. Right here we can see the white gates to Mrs. Lee's Rose Garden. And directly in front of us is the tomb of unknown soldiers of the Civil War. It is actually called the Civil War Tomb of the Unknowns. And just as the individual Union graves were placed so close to the flower garden, this is a bit further back, but not by that much. See, we are already here. That did not take long. And I will read you what it says here. Beneath the stone repose the bones of 2,111 unknown soldiers gathered after the war from the fields of Bull Run and the route to the Rappahannock. Their remains could not be identified, but their names and deaths are recorded in the archives of their country, and its grateful citizens honor them as of their noble army of martyrs. May they rest in peace. September AD 1866. The obvious question that you may have is, how can they fit that many soldiers in one place like this? And to go a bit beyond that, they are not inside this stone structure. This is a cap. They are not actually in there. They are down in the ground here. And this is how they're able to fit 2,111 soldiers in one place like this. First, this was well after the war had ended. So there were two separate battles of Bull Run, and then there were some other battles in that area. After the war ended, they went back and collected all these remains. But so much time had passed that everything but the bones were already gone. So all you had were bones. And they could not be identified. So they basically separated the bones into bone types to save space. So leg bones all went together in one place and were put in its own compartment. Skulls are all put together in the same place, rib bones, etc., so that they would fit nicely into each other. And then they are all buried down there in sections by bone type. So that's how this was done. Also, when people come here, they see how we have the remains of over 2,000 unknown soldiers in one place, but yet there's no guard. There's no guard marching back and forth as you would see a little further down the hill. We go down that way, and there's the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which of course is a World War I, World War II, and a Korea veteran. So you have 3 soldiers, 3 bodies. Here you have 2,111. And again, it's all because of the history of the cemetery. There were locals being very disrespectful over there. So it was a practical measure at first that there needed to be a guard. But that was never the case over here. There were never any issues here, and there's never been a guard here. And as far as I know, there's not been any problems either. It's always very peaceful back here, to be honest. And this back here was the Arlington House garden, and we're going to take a look at it, but first we will look at the signage. So here's the garden in all its glory. Growing season. The kitchen garden put food on the table at Arlington House. As blackberries and tomatoes ripened in the summer heat, squash and artichokes branched out leafy and green. Here, enslaved gardeners turned the soil, digging for turnips, carrots, and potatoes in fall. The Custis and Lee family, often joined by distinguished guests, ate produce fresh or canned for winter. To get enough to eat, enslaved workers also tended their own vegetable gardens near their cabins. They also fished and foraged in the forest. And this is an active garden today. Gooseberry, and you can volunteer here. Growing food to feed our neighbors, plot against hunger. Back there are bathrooms. If you ever come here to visit, just know that there's another set of bathrooms back there.